Hi, I'm teacher MATin, a British educational center, and I'm here to help you guys with your writing test. And my first point is that the writing test of IELTS is not about writing. The writing test of IELTS is more about thinking. Your essay in the IELTS writing test should demonstrate a special kind of thinking called critical thinking. And that is what the question exactly demands. Pick any random IELTS Task 2 question and you will see there is a line under the topic which reads like, give reasons for your answer and include relevant examples of your knowledge or experience. Yes, reasons and examples. So using the most complex grammar and high-level words cannot help you unless your work reflects critical thinking, which is about providing the right reasons for your argument. So here's a short video by a law school explaining what critical thinking is and how you should apply it to your work.
What comes to mind when someone says that you need to use critical thinking? In the concept of critical thinking, the term critical refers to a way of thinking, an analytical stance you take with regards to assessing claims that you've read, heard, or saw. The goal of critical thinking is not simply to decide whether to accept or reject an argument, to register a yay or nay vote. In critical thinking, the goal is to fully evaluate all parts of a claim that someone has made, to assess each of its parts as well as the whole. Certainly, there are relatively easy black and white cases. For example, consider the claim that was made in the day of Columbus, when people said, ships sailing east from Europe will eventually fall into space because the Earth is flat. You don't need to be an expert in critical thinking to see this as an example of an argument that's pretty easy to reject in total, assuming you know the Earth is not flat. However, much more often, we are asked to think critically about more complex, challenging claims or arguments that contain much more gray than they do black or white. So in such cases, it's much harder to say, I agree, or I disagree. Critical thinking is the logical process that you go through to determine whether you agree or not. Critical thinking allows you to explain why you disagree, what parts of the claim or argument you find wrong or troubling, and even what argument you might make in its place. As we proceed in learning about critical thinking, you'll find that by offering alternatives to the argument, you and others involved strengthen and clarify views and positions. Thus, critical thinking can be seen as an exercise in collective problem solving. So, critical thinking is an active process meant to move us, whether it's a class or another community that you belong to, towards greater understanding of difficult economic, social, ethical, and legal problems. In order to do this effectively, critical thinking requires applying reason. For example, people often make decisions based on pure emotion, intuition, faith, or common sense. Utilizing reason does not necessarily mean throwing these sensibilities, emotion, intuition, etc., out the window. It's not cold, hard, or unfeeling. But critical thinking requires putting these other ways of thinking and reacting under the microscope of reason. For example, many people decide not to try certain activities because they say, I'm too scared. I can't go running tonight. I don't have anyone else to run with and I'm afraid of running by myself at night. Fear, like all emotions, can either be justified or unfounded. When we expose this emotional response to reason, we can determine whether it's justified or not. Are there good reasons to be fearful of running alone at night? Is the area known for crime? Are there wild animals or dogs to worry about? Is it easy to get lost? By asking these kinds of questions, we can probe to see whether our emotion, fear, is the product of a reasonable assessment of the situation. Critical thinking will help us both offer reasons for our own positions on what action should be taken and effectively evaluate the reasons offered by others. Consider this scenario. You are working as a marketing assistant for a marketing company. You've been in that position for a few years and you're looking to catch the attention of your supervisor. You know there's a marketing manager position opening up soon and you've got your eye on it. You want to distinguish yourself. Fortunately, an opportunity presents itself. Your supervisor asks both you and your coworker, who's also an assistant, what you think the company should focus on for an upcoming ad campaign. Should they invest more resources in traditional marketing venues like print and TV ads, for example, or in innovative online and social media venues? Wanting to seem like you're on top of things and ready to go, you respond quickly with an email. Definitely traditional venues, and here's how we should spend the money in those venues. Your coworker doesn't respond right away, but the next day offers her assessment. We should go with online and social media. I've attached a detailed report showing recent trends in market research with data that demonstrates the increased return on investment of social media marketing campaigns compared with traditional venues. Who do you think will get the attention of the supervisor? The employee who made an unsupported claim about what to do, you, or the employee who offered evidence and reason for her position? Insight and understanding leads to justification for taking or not taking certain actions. But it also gives us ownership over our beliefs. As we think critically about our own and others' beliefs, we develop the skills that allow us to know why we believe what we believe. We can offer evidence and reason to defend our beliefs, and that reason giving leads us to actions that fit with our beliefs. Ultimately, we have true freedom of thought and opinion that comes when we know what we believe and why. This module has provided you with a working definition of critical thinking. You should now be able to explain what critical thinking is and how it's different from other types of thought. You should understand the key features of critical thinking and to appreciate its purpose and value.
So, if you're interested in learning principles that can help you lift your score but are not usually taught at IELTS preparation classes, you can simply call or text us to book a free trial lesson with us. Hope you like this lesson. Stay tuned.